The story starts with the female lead saying what her mother always said. Aiki, one day I'll introduce you to your uncle. He may be like a mad dog, or like a puppy. But her mom is sure that Aiki will like him as he's warmer than anyone else. It's her mom's one and only precious brother. All the toys Aiki has now were all bought by him as well. Our female lead stares in astonishment as she thinks about her mom's precious brother. If he's the precious brother of her mother, then he's gonna be her precious uncle as well. Or so she had thought. The scene changes to that of a fancy building. We see Amin let out a scoff. A man mentions how his sister wants him to take care of that little girl now, and if that woman is out of her mind. He then calls over to our young female lead who pretends to not be listening. He then yells over to Peanut. Aiki then starts to rage at him saying that she is not Peanut. He then calls her Chibi and tells her to come over. To which she tells him she is not Chibi either. He then asks if calling her quarter pint works, to which she continues to be enraged. She notes how unbelievable this is and how this was the one and only uncle that her mom has been talking about. Why did it have to be a delinquent like this guy? His name is Castle de Leguier and this is her lovely uncle. He walks over to her and tells her they will be living together from now on. But he mentions how raising kids is not a hobby of his. He tells her to just keep her head down and stay quiet, got it? She notes how scary his face is and thinks about how raising grown-ups is not her hobby either. He tells her to answer him, to which she turns her head and says fine. He then tells her to go ask for food then, and to not just hover around in front of him. She tells him she already ate, to which he tells her to eat more and asks if she wants to keep being called Peanut. He then grabs for the door, mentioning how he's leaving anyways. Our female lead then starts to pout and thinks about how mean her uncle is. Even if she were to beg him to live together later, it'll be too late. She then lets out a deep breath. She recalls how her name is Aiki de Valiart. She has a grandfather who loves her very dearly. And an uncle who seems to totally hate her. The reason she's ended up living with him is to save his life. She holds her head, noting how grown-ups never seem to understand how their nieces feel. He's such a foolish uncle. She lives in a big country called Warford. And there have been many conflicts in the past. Now there are 3 families, Valiart, Deslin, and Notium, that protect Warford with his majesty. She heard that out of the 3 families, hers, Valiart, has the shortest history but is the most famous. They are the best, if you will. Her grandpa has served both the former and current emperor fully. His anime was Ilrode de Valiart. Her uncle also happens to be the strongest swordsman. And her mother was named Syria de Valiart. Her mom was none other than the Prime Minister of Warford. In her memories, her mom was always quite busy, and she worked more days than she rested. Even after Aiki was born, she would continue working at the Imperial Palace. She does not know who her father is, but she once asked and her mom said he was someone important with a very big duty. Aiki had thought it was fun as long as her and her mother were happy, even without a dad. But then the incident would occur. We see her mom greeted by someone near a carriage and thanks her for coming. Her mom says she was just doing her duty. Aiki stares out the carriage and tells her mom to hurry and reminds her mother that she promised to read a storybook. Her mom says she is coming, to which Aiki continues to rush her. Time would pass on this bright and beautiful day. Her mom tells Aiki that Aiki usually waits patiently and questions why Aiki was so eager to follow her today. Our female lead ponders about this, before saying she does not know why. She just felt like she was gonna really miss her mom this time. Her mom calls her Aiki's name. As the carriage moves, we see people in masks hiding behind a tree. Someone then yells it is an ambush as Aiki's mom grabs her. Some men yell to protect the Prime Minister. A swordsman then appears behind the guards. They land a strike, as we later hear groaning. A masked man asks if they found the necklace. Another attacker says they found the item but that one wasn't there. It seems like they've smuggled it out already. The leader then says they'll need to head back now as someone might barge in soon. They respond with yes to your excellency. He tells one of the men to stay hidden and continue searching later. We hear a man say understood as Aiki can be seen hiding under her mother. As blood drips on her face, she starts to have a stunned look on her face. She yells mom in horror as we then see the whole scene. Her mom tells her to please be quiet and not make a sound. She then pulls out a gem and tells Aiki to swallow it. She then shoves it closer to her daughter, who struggles for a bit. As Aiki coughs and cries out loud, her mom hugs her and tells her sorry for not being able to protect her until the very end. Aiki asks her mom what is wrong and if it hurts a lot. Her mom tells Aiki to listen carefully and that from now on, Aiki will have special eyes. Our female lead questions this, as her mom says that no matter what Aiki comes to know or sees from now on, do not be afraid. They will protect Aiki and help her protect those that she loves. She tells Aiki to not tell anybody about this and that it's a secret only between the two of them. Aiki says she promises and tells her mom to please not be sick. Her mom calls her a good girl and says it's a promise from mom. Aiki must be careful. When our female lead opened her eyes again, her mom had already left her side. We see the grave in her honor. Her grandpa said that Aiki was not found in the carriage with her mom, but in a nearby forest. Right after this accident, Aiki's memories got all jumbled up. The Imperial Palace was investigating the matter, but there was nothing our female lead could hear or be told. All she heard was that His Majesty the Emperor was furious. Since the Emperor is an old friend of her mom's, he must have been very upset. Besides, her mom was very smart and good at her work, so he must have been very sad. Aiki herself is letting out tears. On this day, as she was crying, someone stepped forward. Her head turned to look, as we then can see red hair. She met her uncle for the first time here. She says mom in astonishment. She walks forward and yells mom as she grabs onto the red-haired man. She recalls at first seeing how her uncle has the same hair and eye color as her mom. She had thought her mother came back to life. She hugged him the first time they met and never let go for days. And after that she started living with her grandpa. And would come to understand what her mother had meant. The fact that she now has special eyes. She gained the ability to sense danger around people that were close to her. It's a precognitive ability, if you will. At first she mostly saw the future in her dreams. But would later start seeing visions even as she was awake. As she got used to this power, she naturally would prevent accidents involving the maids. But then one night she had that dream. We hear a man calling someone a brat and how they won't let them get away with this. They pull out a blade, and then yell for Ludger to die. In this dream her uncle got caught up in something dangerous. She woke up immediately and began to yell no uncle. She breathed heavily and wondered who that was that attacked her uncle. She then decides that upon seeing this future, she cannot just sit back and do nothing. For her mom's sake, she cannot let her uncle die. We later see him training alone. She hides behind a tree and notes how she'll stay right by his side and protect him. We later hear someone asking if the little lady needs anything else. Our female lead turns her head before then yelling the name Zenda. She asks Lenda where her uncle is, to which the maid says he is going out and that he should be in the dressing room right now. Aiki asks if that's really true before rushing out the room, saying that she's going to see her uncle real quick then. The maid then asks if Aiki would just like some snacks in her room and how Zenda can make her a nice sweet cocoa. Aiki says maybe later as she's going to see her uncle now. The maid then says it might be best to bother him when he's busy. To which Aiki says it's fine and that she must hurry before it's too late. The maid then gives in saying she'll escort Aiki then. We later see a familiar red head. Our female lead then announces to her uncle that she is here. There is complete silence from him though. Our female lead then starts to bang the door calling for her uncle, to the poor maid's dismay. She tells him to open the door as he begins to step out. He walks out mentioning how he told her to keep a low profile. She is stunned by his appearance as he's still trying to get ready. She then lets out a big smirk. She tells her uncle they should play house. He questions why he would play something like that with her. She then latches onto his leg like a leech to his shock. He holds his leg up in dismay. He tells the kid to let go as he has to go now. She struggles as he tries to shake her off. He mentions how the kid is just as stubborn as her mother, to which Aiki says her mom is not stubborn. She then makes a face and tells her uncle she will give him all her snacks, so please do not go. He asks if she thinks looking at him like that will solve everything. She asks what he means, to which he mentions the intentional wide-eyed and cutesy look. He then tells her to let go or he'll toss her, to which she pleads with him just once and that this is Aiki's special wish. He tells her to let go now as she starts to cry. She thinks about how if uncle leaves then she'll fight the man from that dream and might get seriously hurt. She recalls once hearing her uncle and grandpa talking in secret. Uncle has been quietly taking out people who are enemies of Valiart, which means uncle has a terrifying number of enemies. If Aiki does not stop him then he'll disappear just like her mom. She wonders if things would be different if her mom was still here. A flashback of mom then pops in her head. She then calls to her uncle. She sits on the floor and cries about missing her mom. Her uncle fixes up his attire, before then kneeling to the ground. He then tells her that if she misses her mom so much, just go look in the mirror. She is confused before then saying she does not look like her mom that much though. She looks more like him actually. He questions this as Aiki mentions how he looks just like mom. He then grabs his head and questions why she came up here to stir things up and how she's such a headache. She asks if uncle does not like her and if she's a nuisance. He questions who said he does not like her, to which she asks if he does like her and if he wants them to live together. He asks if she is nuts, and says he neither likes nor dislikes her. He's no good with kids and that she should go back to her grandpa's house. Our female lead then says she kind of likes uncle though and that mom told her a lot about him. so she really wanted to meet him. That's why she hopes he likes her as well. She then grabs his leg and says she wants to get along with him and stay here. She tells him she'll only get in the way a little. He stares back at her silently. An image of his late sister appears as he stares at the child. He then starts to mutter a bit. He then stands up, and then turns away, telling Aiki to do whatever she wants. Run around the house or roll all over the floor for all he cares, but if she gets in the way even a little then she'll be in trouble. Our female lead is beaming with a smile as she asks if that's really true. She asks if he means it, to which he asks if she thought he was gonna fall for everything. She then reaches into her pocket, and then tells him to press his hand right here. She shows a piece of paper with a contract saying Uncle Castle will never kick Aiki out of the house. He asks her what this is as she tells him it's a contract and to press it already. He notes how this is definitely Sarah's daughter as she is quite thorough. He tells her he will stamp this later and if that is good enough. She then asks if he is going out today then. To which he says he is not and will just ride his horse in the garden. Our female lead starts to cheer as he walks off. She recalls how her mom always said that important things need to be recorded. It's a good thing she prepared this document and how her uncle is not going anywhere. As she starts to take a small step, something dark then appears in her mind. She sees her uncle on his horse. He calls to Gunter, before then seeming to struggle to control the horse. He lets out a cry in pain as our female lead then falls to the floor. She wonders what this is as she takes deep breaths. She then turns her head in alarm in search of uncle. He is approaching his horse in the stables. Our female lead starts to move, noting how he's in danger twice in one day. She notes how this is a bit much, before then yelling for her uncle. A man with glasses is speaking but then turns his head and notices the young miss. This is Leto, the head butler of the estate. He asks if she is by chance looking for the young master and mentions how he went out for a ride. She is left stunned as she did not realize he'd already gotten that far. She wonders why uncle moves so fast, and notes how the stables are definitely right around this corner. We then see her outside looking in astonishment. She sees her uncle standing right by his horse. She calls for him out loud as he turns his head. She yells at him, calling him a liar, and mentions how he promised that he would not go out. He questions this and mentions how he's literally riding a horse on his own property. He tells her to get off of him as she latches on again. She then tells him he cannot ride that horse. He calls her Peanut again and then asks what she is going on about. We then see the horse letting out some sounds. Uncle looks over and calls to Gunther. Our female lead starts to stare at the horse as well. She then tells her uncle that horses do not normally raise one of their hoofs like that. She then starts to walk over. She calls to the horse and mentions how his foot hurts. She is then grabbed all of a sudden. He asks if she knows how dangerous that is and asks what she thinks she's doing. He asks if she wants to get kicked or something. She tells him the horse looks as if it is in pain and tells her uncle sorry. Her uncle then tells a man to take Gunther inside and check on the horse. Our female lead then asks if her uncle will not be riding now, to which he says she said the horse looked hurt, so why would he ride the horse? Our female lead then lets out a big smile as she notes how her uncle won't get hurt riding the horse now. She continues to smile as he stares at her in silence. He then pinches her cheek and asks Peanut what she is so happy about. He thinks about how this girl should have stayed like a coddled flower in the greenhouse with the old man. Why did she have to crawl all the way over here and get into this kind of danger? This is exactly why he did not want to bring her here. We later see him carrying her into the house. He asks if she is sleepy, to which she says yes. He places her on the bed and covers her up in some blankets. He thinks about how exhausted she is and how she passed out instantly. He also wonders why she keeps on clinging to him. She then softly calls to her uncle and tells him to not go anywhere while tugging on his sleeve. He is silent for a moment. He thinks about how he must do something about this before he gets any more attached. 3 days would pass on from this point. We see a flower on her head as she then peeks around a door and calls to uncle. She asks if he is in there. A man welcomes the young miss as her uncle notes how she is back again. The man is Gerard and he is Castle's escort knight. Gerard says they are finished talking, so he will take his leave now. Aiki says goodbye before then running over to uncle. He asks why Peanut is not staying in her room, to which she again tells him she is not Peanut. She says she is here to show him a drawing that she made and says it's of him and her. He asks if that really is him, to which she says it's good, right? He then stands up and tells her to go find Zenda and have the maid help her get ready to go out. He tells her they will be visiting the old man's place today. Our female lead jumps in joy at this thought. She asks if she can bring a present for Grandpa and how the cupcakes she made this morning are delicious. He tells her to bring whatever she wants, to which she thanks her uncle. We later see the maid doing our female lead's hair. Our female lead brightly smiles as she notes how long it's been since she went to Grandpa's house and wonders what has gotten into Uncle. Either way, she's very happy right now. We later see a carriage arriving at the other estate. Our female lead runs over yelling Grandpa. He looks back at her warmly. They embrace as her grandpa says he missed her so much and how he's been waiting for her. Her uncle then comments on his hair dye, as Grandpa is said to normally have red hair. Her grandpa asks if Ike's uncle is picking a fight and mentions how he loves this hair color since it's the same as Ike's. He asks the girl if that's right, to which our female lead responds with a smile. Her grandpa says they should go inside now and mentions how Ike has not gained a pound. He asks if that brat has not been feeding her. Ike says she eats with her uncle every day though. She then tells her grandpa that she brought him some presents and how it is very yummy. Her grandpa says just having her here is the only present that he needs. She says the more presents the better, to which he says they should eat it together then. Our female lead says it is fine as she ate a ton before coming here. We later see an empty plate and our female lead with a cupcake in her hand, noting how that was delicious. Snack time round 2 is now clear. A maid asks if Ike enjoyed the food and if she wants a drink. Our female lead says yes and wants to ask Mari something. She asks when Grandpa and Uncle are coming back. Mari said they have something important to discuss right now. She then stops for a moment. She notes how she heard a sound, the same one she hears right before the carriage leaves. A realization then appears in her head. She hopes this is not the case. Mari asks where the young lady is going as she storms out the room. We see her running towards the gates. She holds on to the bars and looks out. She wonders if that is Grandpa, who is with her uncle. She wonders why her uncle is getting into the carriage and how he was not here while she was having snacks. She starts to tear up as she wonders if he's actually trying to leave her behind. She starts to run down some steps and then yells that Uncle is such a big liar. Her grandpa then grabs her and tells her that she will get hurt if she runs like that. She tells her grandpa to let go as she yells for her uncle who is leaving in the carriage. She wonders if he is really leaving and starts to tear up. She notes how all she wanted to do was save him. She yells for Uncle and tells him to not go. She continues to yell for her uncle. We later see the inside of a room that has stuffed animals in it. Grandpa stares at the child nervously. She is hiding in her blanket and resembles the appearance of a very angry cat. Her grandpa cannot believe that his dear child is making such a face right now. She mentions how she could have caught up with him had her grandpa not stopped her. Her grandpa mentions how she once said she liked living with him and to please stop crying and how they should eat a delicious snack now. She tells him she does not want to. Our female lead thinks about how Uncle has abandoned her and how he even promised her he would not. She notes how mean this is and how she does not care about Uncle anymore. We later see light shining on the estate. Some golden liquid is poured into a cup. The butler says that it has been days since the young lady has left and how the mansion is rather quiet and empty now. The uncle mentions how he thinks it's nice how quiet it is. The butler lets out a nervous laugh at this. Gerard then arrives at the door calling to the young master. He lets the knight in and asks what the matter is. Gerard says that the Duke of Valiart has sent someone and they had a message about the young miss. The uncle asks what it is. He is then told from the very first day that Ike has cried until she was exhausted. She fell asleep and has been weak ever since. She has not been eating properly as she is waiting for him. Gerard says they should go see her, to which the uncle stares downward in silence. He mentions how this will only go on for a little while and that she's just a kid and how she'll soon be fine enough with that old man. He mentions how it seems like everyone has too much time on their hands to return to their posts. The door is then closed and silence falls into the room. He notes how she was a kid who would always eat her snacks so well. He recalls how happy she looked back then. A piece of paper then drops onto the floor. Uncle leans back and lets out a deep breath. He notes how he should not get any more attached. How he has to break it off. And recalls back to when he left. He then says damn it to himself. It's nighttime as the moon is out in the sky. He's riding on his horse and notes how he'll just go see her face, nothing more of course. He recalls how he was told the kid has not been eating, and how he'll have to go check on her condition. He notes how he only came here to see her face so there's no need to make a big fuss in front of everyone. He then leaps over the stone wall. He lands on his knees silently. He then recalls how he was told Ike was sleeping in the same room Sarah used to be in. Something then causes him to get stunned. He sees two men outside with masks on. A guy says this is the Valiart mansion and asks if the other guy remembers the target. He says they will split up and meet in front of that room. Uncle then yells asking where those two think they're going. He points his blade at one of the guys. He then says that he sees a bug has gotten in. Castle de Leguier is here. He asks how dare they raid Valiart without any fear, and if they are prepared for what's coming. He then grabs one of the guys with his hand. He points his blade and asks who is the man's backer. Just then someone springs up from behind to attack Uncle. Two blades can then be seen in battle. Uncle looks back stunned. He then calls to the old man, to which the old man is surprised to see Castle. He asks Castle what is all this. Castle says it was an ambush and wonders if those attackers even knew where they were at. He tells the old man there still might be stragglers. Before then realizing that this means Peanuts might be in danger. He then starts to run and tells the old man he's leaving the cleanup up to him. Uncle hopes that Ike is in bed and sleeping soundly right now. He then peers into the room. Noting how she's sleeping like she does not have a care in the world, thank goodness. But then something leaves him stunned. He grabs at the blanket and yells damn it. After pulling on the blanket all he sees is a teddy bear. A bunch of them all piled up in a stack. He wonders where on earth she's disappeared to. Earlier we see Ike struggling in her sleep. She feels as though she is getting suffocated almost as if something is tightly wrapping around her body. She then opens her eyes to see a big snake. She wonders if this is actually a snake, to which the creature says yes. It then opens its mouth wide right in front of her and says it is dangerous. We then hear a loud cry from the room. Ike wakes up from her nightmare and wonders what that dream was. She notes how the snake said something about danger. She then turns her head to the window as she hears a sound. She recalls her mom once telling her that sometimes scary shadows can appear. And that when the shadows come then she must go hide. Her mom even told her they should practice playing hide and seek just in case the shadows ever do come. Our female lead notes how this is it, and how the same shadows that used to come when she was with mom are here. She must hide now. She covers her mouth, noting how if she stays hidden then her grandpa will come save her. So she must not get caught. A step can then be heard. She notes how the footsteps have stopped right in front of her. She wonders if they found her. She then internally yells for mom, grandpa, and uncle. Someone then yells asking where that peanut brat has gone. She then yells uncle from inside her closet. He turns his head stunned. He then yells for peanuts as he grabs the closet handle. She opens the container in tears as she calls for uncle. He asks her why the hell she's coming out of there. From a place like that. She then takes a big step. And then hugs her uncle, telling him she was so scared just now. She asks him if the shadow has gone away and if the hide and seek is over now. She asks if he knew how sad she was when he went back home. He tries to tell Peanut to calm down for now. He questions how she said hide and seek and asks if this isn't her first time hiding like this. She says it isn't, since mommy said that whenever they play hide and seek, that she should always hide here. Grandpa's closet is the same as theirs, so if the shadows come to Grandpa's house then she should hide here too. Uncle is very confused and wonders what kinds of things the mom and daughter duo were doing out there. Ike then grabs his coat, and asks if he will be taking her with him now. And how he had promised that he would not leave her behind. He looks down at her in silence for a moment. He then turns his head, saying that leaving her behind and forgetting her are not the same thing. She yells that it is the same and that he is a liar. She then tells Uncle to not go and that if he is leaving then to take her with him. She will not let go. Uncle then lets out a sigh. He says he does not even know anymore as she rests on his arm. He then sets her back down on the bed. He tells her he will not be leaving her, so to just get some more sleep for now. She grabs his wrist, saying she does not believe him and that he's a liar. To which he swears he will not be leaving. She then tells him to just wait right here then. She then ties a red string to both their hands. She says that they should sleep now and that tomorrow they will be going back home together. He is stunned by this. She then tells him good night as he is still stunned by everything that is happening right now. Morning then later arises in the room. Grandpa walks in with a stern look on his face. He notes how after all that, the little brat ends up pulling a stunt like this. The uncle and niece duo can be seen peacefully asleep side by side. We later see her uncle carrying her near a carriage. He tells Grandpa that since things have turned out like this, he will be taking Peanut back home with him. Ike says goodbye to Grandpa. To which the old man says that if Castle makes Ike cry then he will strip Castle's title, just so he knows. Castle brushes this off, as Grandpa wonders how he'll survive without his little dear. Ike tells her grandpa that she will just come to visit often. Her grandpa says that if that guy bothers her then she can come back to Grandpa anytime. To which Ike says okay. Her uncle lets out a scoff as he then asks if the old man managed to find all the intruders from last night. The old man says of course. They will all learn what happens when you mess with the Valiants. The hard way. Castle says that is good and to keep in touch if anything happens. Grandpa says he will be leaving Ike in Castle's hands then, to which Castle says that didn't need to be said. Ike says goodbye once more in the carriage. The setting then changes once more. Ike can be seen telling Zenda that she is back. Zenda has a smile as she notes how Aiki has returned. The maid says she is glad and mentions how empty it was without her. She had gotten attached to Aiki without realizing. Aiki says she missed Zenda a lot as well. Zenda says she will do her very best to protect Aiki from now on and that she will try and stop Aiki from having to go anywhere she does not wish to. She will do everything she can to convince the others on Aiki's behalf. Aiki says she does not want to see Zenda get scolded though, to which the maid says she will explain things very well so that she won't get scolded. To which Aiki says okay. Aiki thinks about how Zenda is now on her side and how it's super reassuring. She then realizes something. If she were to get everyone else on her side, then even if Uncle were to get mad, they would all protect her and she would win in the end. If Uncle were to try and scold her or kick her out, they would all stop him. She then yells saying that she wants to be friends with everyone else too, just like how she is with Zenda. She then tells the maid to lend an ear for a second. She then whispers something to the maid which leaves her stunned. The maid lets out a soft giggle. Before then telling the miss that is a great idea. With this plan, everyone will be on her side now. We later see a group of maids all looking and smiling. Some butlers as well are all staring and smiling. Uncle looks over in confusion as he wonders why everybody is making that face and how they all look completely dazed. Someone then starts to walk over that way. It is Aiki who calls to Uncle and Gerard. She asks if they came back safe. Uncle tells her that he already said she should behave when he goes out as Gerard asks the young lady if something is the matter. Aiki then says she just wanted to give them something. She tells Gerard this is a present as she hands him a big red ribbon. He asks if that is for him and Aiki says she will pin it on his chest. Aiki tells him that she prayed to the flowers so something good would happen to him. She thanks him for always protecting her. Gerard says thank you and how he'll treasure this. Uncle notes how that was what the commotion was all about, and how it's just some peanut business. He notes how he ought to accept this present quickly, otherwise she'll start to whine. He starts to tell her he'll take it already, to which she waves at him and says she won't bother him anymore. She tells Uncle to see you later, as we then see Gerard staring at Castle's blank face. He seems kinda angry as he wonders what the heck, and wonders what about me. We later see our female lead saying wow as she stares at some cool dish asking what it is. The chef named Sophie says it's a dish made from deep frying root vegetables and how it's a thank you gift to the young lady for the present from earlier. Aiki says that it's not even meat yet, it tastes amazing. The chef asks if they should add leafy greens or fruit next time as Uncle watches from the side. He says it's quite noisy and tells Sophie to not drag Aiki into things. Sophie says it is too late for that since every day has been nothing but happiness lately thanks to Aiki. Uncle then asks Peanut if she has anything for them. She says nope and mentions how the food is super tasty and how Uncle should eat a lot as well. He tells her to talk after she finishes chewing. As she holds up a spoon of food, she seems to remember something. She mentions how there is something she'd been wanting to ask Uncle. She then hands him a piece of paper which prompts him to ask what it is. He stares and notes how it has the imperial crest on it. She says yes and mentions how she saw it on his desk and had his name on it. She tells him to take her to His Majesty's palace as he invited her to visit. He asks if she knows the emperor, to which she says she does not, and how she only knows he's her mom's friend and that letter said she can visit. She's never been there and asks Uncle to come with her. He tells her nope, to which she angrily asks why not. He says who knows, and mentions how maybe his heart feels empty. She asks what that even means, before then saying he's leaving and to finish her plate and not leave anything behind. She calls him mean, as she notes how he's totally sulking. The head chef mentions never knowing the master was such a softie. Our female lead notes how he might not take her to the palace at this rate, and how she might not have a choice. It's nighttime later, as we then see Gerard noting how Castle has been upset for a while now. It must be due to the shock of not receiving anything from the young lady. Gerard notes how Aiki would not have forgotten to give him one and wonders what happened. The door then opens as they then notice something in the room. Inside a little box we see a ribbon that looks way cooler. Gerard says the young lady must have left it behind and notes how this is why it took so long. She was busy preparing the best one. He then tells Castle to go on and pin it. Castle says who even asked for this as he grabs it. A smile crosses his face as he questions what's so great about this cheap little thing anyway. He then asks if Gerard got a box as well, to which Gerard says no. Gerard says the young lady only made one for the person who she thinks is the most precious and amazing. It's bigger than a regular ribbon and even has layered yellow just like marigold. Uncle says enough with the fuss and asks for the report. Gerard smiles, noting how the man's mood has improved already. He mentions how they finished inspecting the carriage debris from the attack on the Valiant estate, and aside from the 38 who have been eliminated, they are still pursuing 7 more. Castle asks if none of them have talked yet, to which Gerard says all of them self-deleted except the ones getting tormented. Castle says this is ridiculous and says to hunt them all down while putting on his ribbon. He also says to tell Peanut to get ready as they will be heading to the palace tomorrow. Gerard questions all the backlogged work, to which Castle says he was going to do it but postponed due to being lazy. He then says if the report is done then Gerard can move already. Morning then comes at the estate as we then see Aiki asking her uncle if she looks pretty. Zenda had dressed her up so nicely. She then comments on how he is wearing the brooch and how it looks great on him. He asks if she is headed to a party or something and tells her to get in the carriage. She angrily tells him to wait for her. He then stops and realizes something. He says before she goes, she should wear this. Her eyes widen as she notes how this is. We then see the outside of the palace. Inside there are maids and butlers who greet them. Aiki seems to have an unhappy look on her face. She tells uncle that everyone is staring at her. She asks if she can take off her necklace, which literally just has his name on it. She comments on how his name is far too big. He tells her no and mentions how she has to wear it, so please stop causing trouble. She tells him it's embarrassing and how she won't get into any trouble, so can she please take it off. He says no as she gets annoyed. We later hear her calling to uncle, as she continues to ask to take it off and how she promises to behave. He tells her no as she then asks when His Majesty is coming. He tells her soon probably. We later hear someone saying they cleared their schedule for the morning but someone is still late. He tells the duo in the room sorry to keep them waiting. He then comments on how this must be Aiki. As she stares she notes how that person is His Majesty the Emperor. This is the Emperor of Wift, Winchester Gaia Celator. Aiki remembers how Mom said she absolutely had to remember the Emperor's name. The signature purple eyes of the imperial family and the hair as black as the midnight sky. They're all just like hers. She recalls studying, and her mom saying the Emperor of Repel had black hair too. It might be more common than she thought. She continues to make a stunned face as she looks up at the Emperor. She then holds her skirt and bows saying she is Aiki de Valiart. And she is the granddaughter of Ilrode de Valiart. The Emperor says she is very polite and says it is a pleasure to meet her. He then bows down himself and says that if it is okay, can he give her a hug. She reaches her hand out and with a smile, says of course. The Emperor himself smiles back as well. The two share a very warm hug. The Emperor says he did not realize how small she was. He has been looking forward to this moment. He thanks Aiki for coming to see him. He comments on how she looks so much like Syria, to which Aiki asks if His Majesty was friends with her mom. He says that is right and how Syria and Castle are both dear friends of his. He then asks if that necklace was given to her by Castle and mentions how adorable it is. He says it is lovely as she contemplates how uncle had given it to her. She then turns and tells His Majesty that she has brought a gift for him as well. She reaches into her dress and then pulls out a red ribbon saying that she made it herself. She thanks him for inviting her here today. He asks if she really made that for him. Castle then clears his throat in response to everything going on. He then crosses his hands and seems to be flexing the ribbon that's on his chest. Side note, this man might be Aiki's uncle, but I want him to be my big baby daddy. That luscious red hair, and those sharp golden eyes. Anyways, our female lead notes how this was a silent message on how Castle has a flashier ribbon. The Emperor holds onto his ribbon before then thanking the young girl. He mentions how of all the gifts that he has ever received, this one is the most special and that he will treasure it. He gives her a pat on the head before then thinking about how he's got to give back a gift in return. He calls to Sola and tells her to bring that thing here. The maid then returns with a black box. Our female lead stares at it curiously as she wonders what this is. The Emperor says that this is something that Syria told him to give to Aiki a long time ago. Syria had said Aiki was very bright and that it would be very useful to her. He says he is sorry for taking so long to pass it on. He reaches into a blue box, and then opens it to show a key. One that unlocks the Imperial Archive. Aiki asks if her mom really asked him to give her this. He says that is right and how it holds very ancient books. Books full of wisdom that have been long forgotten along with so much more. The Emperor says that Syria told him that if anyone could find something special in there, it'd be Aiki. He says that if she is curious then to come visit anytime. Our female lead stares at the key and notes how it's a gift that mom has given her. He holds it closer to her face, noting her mom's warmth is still with it. She then recalls how she needs to thank His Majesty. She bows and thanks him very much before then saying she's always welcome to visit him and not just when she's tired. She says okay with a big smile. She then tells uncle to hold on to this as he mentions how she's putting him to work already. They argue for a bit as Sola whispers something to His Majesty. He then tells the pair that there is something he'd like for them to meet. He mentions how he has a nephew around Aiki's age. Maybe the two of them could be friends, so he invited the boy here. Aiki thinks about a friend with excitement. The boy then takes a step inside. His Majesty says the kid might seem stiff, but he's quite a sweet boy, so be nice to him. The boy greets His Majesty as the Emperor tells Rupthi to come say hello. Our female lead stares in awe as she notes he's pretty. We then see purple eyes as a young blushing boy looks back at her. He's like the moonlight and he says hi, his name is Rupthi. What is her name? And that concludes the video today. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below if you want another part.